Hello, lads and lasses. Hey, if you like today's lesson, then please go to the airport and stand with the limousine drivers picking up important passengers with signs that read the person's name. Only your sign will say, I heart art, as this would really help spread the good word about my class. Hey, everybody. Today we're going to be working with perspective, and perspective is basically making things look 3D. Let's see. Things look 3D on a 2D surface. And, that 2D surface is just basically going to be a piece of paper, right? And we're going to be specifically looking at linear perspective. All right. This piece of paper right here is an 8.5 by 11. It's the standard piece of paper. It's the same size as your notebook paper. And if this is all you have, then that's okay. But I would rather you have a large piece of paper. This project will be easier with a large piece of paper than a small piece of paper. It will be more difficult with a small piece of paper. So you should have a much larger piece of paper. Do you see the difference? It's like double the size. So try to find a large piece of paper to work on. And I want you to make a 1/2 inch border around your paper. All right, so we've done 1/2 inch borders before. I shouldn't have to tell you how to make a 1/2 inch border, but I'm going to quickly do one. So I can start the music and the fast draw. All right, and so it is very important in this assignment that you draw light lines and dark lines. So let me get the camera back down here and down here. All right, so a light line. All right, draws very lightly, and a dark line draws very dark. Now, we are going to be doing a lot of erasing. So with a light line, erasing is very easy and it just goes away. But with the dark line, it takes extra time. And some students, you can still see the line and it will mess up your paper. When I ask you to make a light line, be sure you make a light line because we will be erasing it later. And if I ask you to make a dark line, yeah, follow the instructions, please. It'll make things easier on you. All right. So also, I have a large piece of paper. Hopefully you have a long enough ruler for this, but I want you to draw a light line across the middle of your paper. And notice I didn't measure, to get the exact amount. Just take a guess and draw a light line across the middle of your paper. All right, and see on the screen, you can barely see it because we're going to be erasing a lot of this line later on. All right, next, I want you to draw a happy face. Now, I'm going to do it in color. So I'm just going to draw a yellow circle over here and a yellow circle over here. And outline it and do a happy face. Outline it and do a happy face. I'll show you what those look like. See a happy face and a happy face, right? Draw a happy face. It doesn't have to be yellow, but all right. And I get my stomach out of that picture. Let's do this. All right. Now I'm going to draw a basic box. So I'm going to use a ruler. Oh, by the way, this is going to be 2-point perspective. Technically, these things are called vanishing points. We'll write that on here. A vanishing point. These are vanishing points, right? But I'm going to call them happy faces. And there's a reason why I call them happy faces, and we'll find out in just a second. But I want you to draw a dark line up here. And so from the top of the line and the bottom of the line, I'm going to draw 2 very light lines to the vanishing point. You can barely see them, but I'm going to jump down from my tower, and so you can see the line goes from the top of the line to the happy face, and from the bottom of the line to the happy face. These 2 lines I'm going to now call happy lines. This is a straight line, and this is a happy line because it goes to the happy faces. All right. I'm going to do the same thing again, but to the other vanishing point, the other happy face. So I'm going to draw it very lightly because we will be erasing this line. Very light. I'll do it again. It was so light, I didn't even make a mark on the paper. Very light and very light. And we'll get down and see that this light line goes all the way to the happy face. It's a happy line. This line goes all the way to the happy face. It's a happy line. If these lines don't go to the happy face, it's not a happy line. We have sad lines. So we want all our lines that are, there's, in fact, I'm going to tell you something else. There's only 2 kinds of lines in this drawing. There's only 2 kinds of lines. The first line is a vertical line. A vertical line goes up and down and is north and south, right? And then the second kind of line in a 2-point perspective is a happy line. And if all we have are vertical lines and happy lines, you're going to have a good drawing. If your line isn't vertical, it had better be happy. So if it doesn't go to the happy face, then it's a sad line. All right, now I'm going to draw a vertical line on the left side of this. And I'm going to draw a vertical line on the right side. All right, and these are dark lines. And then I'm going to crisscross underneath. So if I draw a little dot at the bottom of these lines, and from the left side, I'm going to draw a happy line over to the happy face over here. It's going to look like this, and it's going to be light. Our light lines are happy lines. All right, it's a light line, and it's happy because it goes to the happy face. We're going to draw a happy line over here. Happy line. All right. Now, right here is where our box is. We have a box floating up in the sky. And if I darken up this line, and 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 this line, you can see it. There's a dark box floating up in the sky. All these other happy lines need to go away now. We need to erase them. All right, so I'm going to use my eraser. And because they're light, because I used a light pressure, they're very easy to erase. Now we have a box floating up in the sky. By the way, this line going across here, that's called our horizon line. Oh, let's do another word over here. Horizon line. If we have a picture and a line goes across, that's the horizon line. This is the sky, and this is the ground. And if we have a sunset, all right, see our sunset, all right, the sun is going behind the horizon, all right. So this line right here is the horizon line. Horizon line. All right. Now, I'm going to switch from drawing on a piece of paper to drawing on the computer. You keep drawing on your piece of paper. You follow along with a pencil and a ruler and an eraser. Okay, all right. So what we have, what you're looking at is a white screen with a red line going across it. That red line is our horizon line. So we've already drawn that. We've already drawn our happy faces. And we've already drawn this box. All right. So, oh, by the way, and with the computer, anytime I draw with red, I want you to use light lines, right? Because you'll be erasing that line later. And anytime I draw with black, that's a heavy line, or a dark line. You can draw dark with that. So we did this, we did our crisscross, and we saw our box, and then we erased. All right. So now we're going to draw our second box. Our second box is going to be in the upper left-hand corner. So draw a vertical line. And then I want you to draw two happy lines going to the happy face on the left and two happy lines going to the happy face on the right. These are to be very light. We will be erasing them later. And then I want you to, you can pause this video and draw your lines, but I'm going to move on. And pretty soon I will, I'll talk about it later. Right. So then I want you to draw a vertical line on the left side of that center line and a vertical line on the right. But I want the space between these two lines to be short and the space between these two lines to be long. So you draw yours like I have mine. Then we are going to crisscross underneath. You can pause the video anytime. And then I'm going to darken that up, erase my guidelines, and we have two boxes floating up in the sky. You can pause this video anytime. We're going to move on to this third box. We're going to do a line that goes above and below the horizon line. And then we're only going to do two lines. Oh, we do two lines going to the left and we do two lines going to the right. These are all happy lines and you draw them very lightly. So the happy lines going to the left, happy lines going to the right. Now, because this line goes above and below the horizon line, we're not going to see the top of the box. We're not going to see the bottom of the box. So there's going to be no crisscrossing. So we draw two vertical lines. We darken up our other lines. We erase our guidelines. Then we can erase all the lines inside that box. So now we have one box in front of two others. All right, we're going to draw our fourth box, but this time instead of a box, we're going to draw a wall. So we're going to start with a vertical line, and a wall is basically the same thing as a box, but it's very narrow on one side. And then from the top and the bottom of that line, we're going to draw happy lines to the vanishing points. And then we're going to draw a vertical line on the left and the right side of that original line. Draw yours the way that I've drawn mine. So on this side, on the left side, there's a lot of space, and on the right side, there's hardly any space at all. And then I had to make my lines really thin so that we could do this part. But a pencil line, it would be thin anyway. So you draw happy lines, and we're going to crisscross on top of the box instead of underneath. Because this box or wall is below the horizon line, we're going to see the top of the box. So we crisscross on the top, not the bottom. And once you see the wall, you can darken it and erase our guidelines, and we have a wall. All right, I'm going to challenge you guys, and I want you to draw a wall that goes above and below the horizon line. It's basically the same exact box that we did here, only one side is going to be real thin and the other side is going to be real wide. And I want you to draw yours the way that I've drawn mine. Remember, these diagonal lines are happy lines, and the vertical lines are vertical. So you only have two kinds of lines here. You have either vertical lines or happy lines. The happy lines have to go to the happy faces. So right here, these little diagonal lines go to the happy face on the right, and these diagonal lines go to the happy face on the left. They're all happy lines. Okay, then I want you to draw two happy lines inside the box like this. You can pause the video while I move on. Then I want you to draw two vertical lines. Then you erase. So now we have a wall with a border. Then I want you to draw two, or let's see, and on mine I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I drew 9 little marks. Draw those 9 little marks, or you can draw 8 or 10, but around 9. And then I line all of those up with the happy face on the left. Then I erase all the extra lines, and then I draw vertical lines there, and I've made a checkerboard, right? And we'll color it in later, but that's a checkerboard. All right, now we're going to draw boxes behind these boxes. So I will draw a line here, a vertical line. Now, when it goes behind the checkerboard, it's going to be light, but the line that's outside of the checkerboard will be dark. We use light lines to make happy lines to the happy faces. I'm going to do light vertical lines, and then I will crisscross with happy lines. And once I see my box, I will erase all my other lines, and then I can erase it so that it looks like it's behind. Down here, I'll start another box, do some happy lines. Now, notice what I've done. These happy lines don't go all the way to the happy face. And they point to the happy face, but now you don't have to draw them all the way to the happy face. This will save yourself from lots of erasing. So just make sure that these are happy lines and that they point. If I were to continue this line, it would go right to the happy face. And if I were to continue this line, it would go to the happy face. But I don't have to draw it all the way there. It will save me a lot of erasing. And then I will draw two vertical light lines, and then I will crisscross with happy lines, and then I will erase. And there's my box behind the checkerboard. Right up in the sky, I can do another box, vertical line, happy lines, vertical lines, crisscross with happy lines, and darken and erase. All right, so I've taught you how to draw boxes, and I want you to draw. So I taught you how to do 8. I want you to draw 8 more on your own. So you are going to, here's how you draw a box behind another box. You just draw right on top of it. You ignore what's already there. You do vertical lines and happy lines to the vanishing points. And then you erase your happy lines, your guidelines, and you darken everything up. All right. And you do 16 boxes. Every box has to have something either behind it or in front of it. All right, and the final thing that you are going to do is you are going to color these in. So the left side of every box is going to be light. The right side of every box is going to be medium. And the bottom of every box is going to be dark. And the top of every box is going to be white. So you will use your pencil to shade this in. And this is the assignment. On the checkerboard, you're going to have a light border with medium and black checker spaces. Okay, and let me show you guys a student example. So a student drew this a few years ago. This is what your drawing should look like. All right, that's it for today. And until next time, be a little art factory.